Hey Robin, what's your best piece of advice for dealing with the strong emotions and physical feelings that happen in our body when we experience a setback, failure, or disappointment?
Oh, I love this big question. Thank you for asking. So, my first kind of invitation is to be mindful that when we get that experience, when that experience unfolds, to give ourselves just a wee bit of space and not to necessarily jump into a reaction right away, just to give ourselves even just like 90 seconds to almost let that emotion radiate through us before we necessarily take another step. So, just give ourselves a pause. Recognize that when we get a piece of information that doesn't sit right, those first 90 seconds, our body's in a stress response. So just ride that out. The second invitation would be to separate ourselves from the disappointment. So instead of using language like, I am a failure, I notice I failed, or I notice I didn't hit the mark this time, or I notice this didn't unfold the way I had hoped. So, again, not that I'm a failure or I'm a disappointment. I notice I'm feeling disappointed. And again, that little bit of spaciousness between that response and like identifying ourselves as the problem or the error will make disappointment something that we'll experience not such in a negative way where it impacts our sense of self. And the other piece, just to be mindful of, many of us, our lived experience perhaps have made us very sensitive to rejection or disappointment. And so to give yourself just that permission that perhaps you might be just a little bit more sensitive to it, and that's okay. The impulse to react can be strong, but the idea is what do I do with that impulse is going to set you up for success. So, yes, you might feel a little bit more sensitive than the average person. That's okay. It's part of your story. We just own it and recognize our next right choice after will make the big difference. I hope that answers your question.